That's a different color.
Yeah.
Yellow.
So, good
Yeah.
morning, folks, we're moving right along and, this is a committee, as Senate Ag Committee. And today, the last day of the month.
Gosh,
It is.
Yes.
Oh, no, we got
Leap
leap
year.
year, so
Oh.
February 28th, so we still
It's a good
got
year.
one more day in February.
Feels like March.
And so this morning, we're gonna be dealing with H603, get a run through from the sponsor. And so they could introduce themselves and then get right on with it.
Yep, Brian Collmore representing the Rutland District.
Irene Runner, Chittenden North, Fifty Blues Fairbanks.
Brian Campion, Bennington County.
Richie Westman from Memorial, he'll probably be along. And Bobby Starr from Orleans. So welcome, Heather, and sure, let me go right into the comfortable chair. They aren't quite as nice as what you folks.
Oh, the house chairs are delightful. It's a regal.
When I was in the house, we had chairs like, like the metal ones in back of you.
And you have to carry them in to committee yourself.
No, we had 11 in there, packed in like sardines in a can. But anyways, it's great to have you with us, and so we thought we'd get a little jump start on the bill,
Great.
and at least hear from you and how things went in the house, and you know, if you have recommended changes or have thought about any, so I'd be glad to hear those too. So,
Great.
welcome.
Great. Thank you so much for having me. For the record, Heather Supernaut, Vice Chair of that's Agriculture, Food Resiliency and Forestry Committee. And H603, while it's really simple and its language changes, we heard is going to have a profound economic impact on our farmers. So effectively what it does is it aligns our state's exemptions to infections to match what is already permissible federally. So within the three exemption categories in Vermont, that being 5,000, 10,000, and 20,000, we are allowing farmers to now not only slaughter and sell whole birds, but we are allowed, good morning, Senator.
Sorry. Sorry, that was not.
But we are allowing them to also now part their chickens. So they would have the ability to sell chicken thighs or chicken wings at the farmer's market. And we have heard not only from the farmers themselves that this would make them more economically viable, but the consumers are not just wanting whole chickens, they're wanting parts. It's so much easier, it's accessible, it gets products into the hands of folks who are a little bit daunted by the idea of cooking with a whole chicken. So this is really just a simple and effective language change that's going to have a profound impact on our farming community.
So they could do up to 1,000 birds.
They could go all the way up until the 20,000 bird category, but within each existing category, there are a list of criteria that have safe handling and labeling requirements. And as you go up in the number of birds, those criteria really increase and they become more stringent upon safety requirements. But up to the 20,000 exemption, they would be able to part out the birds.
Okay, so you got 1,000, pretty lenient.
Yeah, fairly lenient.
And what are the what are the differences between like 1,000 and 5,000?
Yeah, in terms of the safe handling and all the criteria. So it's in the bill. Do you want me to read all of the existing
Well, just hit
criteria?
on the iPhone.
Yeah, so in the 20,000, they're more subject to having to get like wastewater permits. They have to ensure that their labeling is really, really accurate and reflective of the product. They have to go through really strict sanitation guidelines for all of the processing area that they're doing the work on, and they have it's kind of like a light inspection procedure that they would go through. And not in the same way that somebody who was doing it for 1,000 birds or somebody who's doing it for a home use.
And did you get any testimony on, like, the average person that would be taking bird parts to the, flea market, to the market, farmers market? How many did they think, any estimate on what they felt they might be able to sell? Or-
Yeah, so we heard from multiple farmers who are already selling whole birds at farmers markets, and they estimated that they gave us a per bird number, so they would be able to make $5 more per bird with the ability to part them out versus if they were only selling a whole bird, which you can imagine somebody who's only doing 1,000 or 2,000, $5 more a bird is a massive increase for a farmer of that scale without having to invest in any additional infrastructure or resources, which is so rare in farming. Often, if you're going to expand, it comes with like a much greater expansion, and instead, this is just a simple product expansion, which is really neat.
Yeah, it would just be a little more labor cutting the bird off or,
Right.
you know,
Which a really skilled farmer, it's maybe like 3 more minutes per bird
yeah.
to part it out.
And that's counted in the $5.
And that's counted
Right.
$5. Yeah, I mean,
That's
most,
$5.
right, most farmers are doing that work themselves, maybe hire on a couple extra folks during the processing phase, but yeah, it's really exciting for these farmers.
Well, as long as the big guys don't get too concerned, drop the price way down. But, I mean, I don't know what do they get for a whole bird at a farmer's market? They just,
Yeah, so that we did, and that varies on the weight of the bird and whether or not it's raised organic or non-organic, but the average price of a bird is around $20 for a whole bird.
oh, good, so they're doing pretty good. I would increase their price by 20%.
They're doing pretty good, however, we've heard that farmers will show up in farmers market with, say, 15 whole birds and go home with 13. Because folks aren't wanting to buy. Yeah, they want the pieces, that's a little bit daunting to purchase a whole bird and, you know, nobody's cooking whole roasting chickens in the middle of summer, they wanna be able to barbecue and grill.
That's a good question.
Morning. Good to, sorry to show up. Appreciate that. Yeah.
I think, you know, you gotta have one bad child. I thought that was me.
Well, it is, but.
It'll be you out tomorrow, so.
So, anything that needs to be done to this that you know of, or?
No, we had the Agency of Agriculture come in and they weighed in and they were supportive of the bill as written. And then we reached out to the Commissioner of Health to make sure that there was nothing that they were concerned about with the expansion and they didn't feel the need to testify. Farmers are really comfortable with the existing language and it had a unanimous vote out of our committee and as well as the House.
Oh.
So it feels pretty sound and exciting.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So Heather, did anyone come in and oppose it?
No, we didn't have anyone oppose it.
Come on, Heather, there must be some.
No, everybody was like, chicken parts, let's go. We love that.
That's great.
Yeah, we were primarily concerned that maybe the agency would want to have some language shifts just to ensure additional safety. But they have been really supportive of the legislation from the beginning, which is really exciting.
Yeah.
I know that you've got the word raw throughout the language
Yes.
here. Was that added? What would happen if that wasn't there? There would be no poultry products are offered.
Right, so that was per the agency's request. They wanted to make sure that this didn't mean an expansion into farmers being able to make value added products. So nobody is gonna be able to make a chicken pot pie out of it. That they would only be able to sell the product in its raw form as parted out, not an additional product for cooking.
Okay.
And so they just thought that that would add clarity. And we wanted to respect that.
Yeah, I was just wondering, so if I may, Mr. Chair, so, back to the chicken pot pie thing, I was just thinking, so you cannot buy a chicken pot pie at farmer's market?
If you have specific licenses
Okay.
that allow you to go through that process.
Okay.
Right, you
Okay.
need very specific. Mhm.
And then with this, and usually I'll just cook the whole chicken, but is it hard, is there any technique that people need to know when cutting her up, or
Yeah, so that was another part of
so in
it.
terms of training or anything like that?
Well, right, that this was an exciting portion of the bill that was discussed with rural Vermont and Open Vermont, that this would provide additional opportunities for trainees for farmers to be skilled in the art of butchering.
Great,
So it's an additional, more consumer knowledge and more knowledge to farmers and another craft.
did you happen to hear from any CTE programs or anyone that is training right now around butchering?
We didn't, but
Okay.
I would really love that. to
Yeah,
be-
it would be great.
See,
Definitely.
VTC offers that.
They do that's right, they do the butchering, yeah.
So we can have them.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, yeah.
It'd be
See,
really cool.
you know, if they can do a day or a 2-day course or whatever.
Yeah, it's a dying art.
It is a dying
It's a
art.
dying art, yeah, for sure.
It sounds like you could teach it.
I don't know.
So, Brian, Senator Carr, Campion's got,
Fortune.
he's
Piece of chicken, he's our chicken.
the closest that we are to a chicken.
Well, I have butchered hundreds,
Have you?
close to thousands myself on farms that
Oh,
work
that's
out too,
interesting.
so.
Okay, so you've done this, so
Oh,
you know
yeah.
the work. That's
I
great.
have
Okay,
done this.
okay,
Yes,
great.
So Heather, on page 4,
yes,
you've added name of the product, so.
Yep.
Subsec 1 and 2, I assume, Heather Supernat Farm. the
Right.
Address, and what is the name of the product?
so what part of the chicken it is,
Ah.
so if it's a wing, a leg, a thigh,
Okay,
yep, just so folks have clarity around what it is they're
What's their
purchasing.
point?
Yeah, and that was also per agency's request, that they wanted to make sure that all of the labeling requirements are uniform across all the existing exemption categories. And we thought that made sense too. Everybody should be labeling, so we know
Yeah.
what they're getting.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe sure. So does labeling go as far as saying like boneless thighs, or are they not allowed to parse the chicken to that degree? Could it be bone-in thighs or
They
boneless?
can
Like they could do,
either.
okay, so
Yep.
there's,
Yep,
That
as long as
degree of-
the label is reflective of what exactly the product is. Yeah. And
You must have, you go to farmer markets,
of course,
so
yeah,
you must have some packages that has the thigh and leg or, you know, different packaging, right?
right.
But you can package that, well, it's already prepackaged when you get it, right? Or do you take the parts and then package it at the,
Oh, no, it would certainly be prepackaged.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, because we wanna ensure that it's all in ice and being managed properly, temperature is controlled and. Yeah, it would stay within its very closed.
any other questions?
no, the other stuff's just grammatical changes, I guess, or
Yeah,
instead of no, it's not, only in.
right. Yeah, it's a really simple bill, which is why we were able to move it so quickly in the house too. It's very self-explanatory.
at no cost.
And no cost,
No
which
cost?
we love. We love it.
Now that you this point.
Right, like, oh no.
Will we see that in a program?
Yeah.
You hear that, Richie, they're trying to put us out of work.
I heard that.
Yeah, so, well, anything else for us, Heather?
No, that's it. I'm so glad that you were able to hear from me before town meeting week. So thanks
Well,
for making this
it's
space.
fresh in your minds, and if we need a refresher, we'll get you back after.
Happy to do it anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
great.
So, if there are no other questions, thank you.
Great, thank you so
Thank you.
much. And have a good rest of your morning.
You too.
If they-
Oh,
Thanks.
Thanks,
Good to see
yeah, you too.
Sorry, I didn't get your agendas to you on time, but this is the rest of the week, just that way.
Huh?
Thank you.
And
And then there's more, and then there's a little thing, going around that I didn't want to speak about publicly because it's a secret.
Oh, we're on, is that okay?
Okay.
Okay.
No, this is just for, member greeting to a member.
We can, we're waiting for Collier to come.
Yeah, do you wanna go up there now?
I mean,